Hey everyone, welcome back. Notes in Motion is an acclaimed dance education program that brings inclusive dance to thousands of underserved to pre-K to 12 students throughout the 5 boroughs. Their programs include a singular approach to arts education through a movement exchange method, combining technical dance instruction with creative skill building and collaborative learning, which in turn fosters self-discovery, risk-taking, and connection making. And here now to share more is Notes in Motion's Artistic and Executive Director, Amanda Selwyn. Hello and welcome.
Welcome, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's lovely to have you on this early Friday morning, right before the 4th of July, I might add, right? So I want to say it's somewhat a day of celebration or a weekend of celebration.
For sure. And with the school year ending, we have just wrapped up 70 programs in the city schools. So it's been weeks of culminating events and dance performances all over the city. So lots to celebrate.
Yeah, well, I would imagine so. It's almost like sliding into home base, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, you've been doing that for how long now? 22 years?
22 years. So I founded the company in 2000. We officially became an arts vendor of the New York City Department of Education in 2005. And since then have been providing dance programs to the schools.
So walk us through this history a little bit, right? So you gave us the logistics and I'm curious to know, like, how did you find, I guess, your style or what is it about the system that inspired you to even partner up with the DOE?
For sure. So my organization, Notes in Motion, is a two-armed organization. So we have a professional dance company, Amanda Selwyn Dance Theater. We do modern dance and dance theater. So when I founded the company, I wanted to find a way to create my own choreographic performances and celebrate my work, but find ways to expand our audiences and find new ways of connecting with people through dance. As I founded the company, I personally was a dance and theater educator. I was teaching all over New York City. All the artists I was collaborating with, we were all wearing multiple hats. So it just seemed pretty natural to foster this education program. And I developed the methodology for the education program very much to mirror the way I work with my professional dancers. So I work in the studio with dancers, fostering their individual expression, working with the technical skills they have, but then thinking about how we respond to theatrical prompts. So that's where this movement exchange methodology came from. Early in the time when I started the company back in 2000, there was a lot of money in the New York City school system to bring professional artists into the schools. So I thought this is a wonderful bringing together. There's the resources out there, at the time there was, and there's professional artists all over the city, and then there's all these students who are lacking arts education. So it felt like a natural step to do. And we started building up our relationships with schools. And then when 2008 happens, a lot of that money that was in the city school system kind of dropped away. So from that time forward, we were really fundraising as much for our work in the public schools as we were for the professional dance work. But we were able to sustain relationships notwithstanding those challenges. And we work with our school partners to write grants, to reach out, whether it's through the Department of Education's funding resources, through the city, the Department of Cultural Affairs, through City Council, finding lots of creative ways to keep the programs going in schools. And actually, one of our flagship schools in the Bronx, PS 78, we started working with in 2007, and we've been consistently providing dance programs to that school now for 15 years. Yeah. So it's really exciting to be able to see how the programs build over time. I mean, the young people we were teaching are now like in college or off into the world or in jobs. It's amazing to see how they've grown.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what kind of turnaround that looks like, right? Do they come back? Do they also become a contribution to Notes in Motion? And also, most importantly, like, what did you do during the pandemic? Yeah. I'm listening to you and I'm going, well, you're really dedicated, definitely committed. It's one of those things where you just basically have committed yourself to the next generation, which is a beautiful and admirable thing, despite whether being a DOE vendor and or having the funding at the same caliber in which you were getting it many years ago, you're still servicing in that manner. So I just wonder, oh my gosh, what did you do during the pandemic?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when the schools closed, obviously we were no longer in the schools. And at that time, back in 1920 school year, we had 15 programs going in our schools. A lot of them were starting to wrap because we tend to, at least then we were doing a lot of programs. We were trying to wrap them before testing would happen in the spring for our elementary schools, but we still had about 7 or 8 programs that were really busy. So we, like everyone else, we pivoted to online. And we turned all of our programs virtual. And that's how we finished out that school year. And then the following year, 2021, when things were so crazy in the city schools, where there was, such low attendance, so many students were hybrid, we did a whole range of creative offerings. We did a handful of remote programs. We did some asynchronous programs. We did some Zoom classes. We also had some classes where our teacher was there, the students were on Zoom. We had classes where our teacher was on Zoom, the students were in the room. We had some teachers come and be in the room with the students. It was everything, all mixed up.
I know it became a technical dance. Right?
Yeah, it was quite, but what's amazing is young people they've adapted to this better than all of us. So they're like, yeah, we'll dance in a box, we'll stare at a screen, and the first thing we teach in all our dance classes is spatial awareness. So when you're working in front of a screen at home, one of the things we had to start with talking to our teaching artists about is working with them on Zoom. It's like, you're going to see all into these students' homes. You're going to go into their home environment. We're not going to know what we're walking into all over the neighborhoods that we serve around New York City. So that was something, and trying to find that way of, if the student disappears off the camera, we don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a sibling that needed their attention in the other room,
Right.
There was a whole range of things. But first and foremost, what we were able to do was just to sustain relationships. But then last summer, that's when things really started pivoting for us, because I think everyone has realized through this pandemic that the arts are not just extra.
Right.
That the arts are actually what makes our lives worth living, that will bring people together, that gives us a sense of hope and promise and joy in our lives. And thankfully, the city and the state have put some dollars behind that. Last summer, the Department of Arts and Special Projects launched this grant for cultural arts partners to bring arts programs to summer rising sites around the city.
Oh, nice. So you're going to have some programs again. Well, you did the whole school year, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't want to run out of time without you at least sharing with us what that was like for you to be in person this school year.
It was amazing. It was amazing. So then this year, I was saying 2021, we did like a whole hybrid, and then 21, 22, this current year, after this really robust summer rising, this year we were in 70 schools, 70. So we suddenly, everyone was calling us, our phone was ringing off the hook, and all the schools were like, we're back. We want the kids moving their bodies. We want them working together. We want them having joy. And the city was encouraging school leaders to do this. So we were everywhere. We were in the Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan, all over the city. We had about 60 teaching artists. It was also exciting to employ that many artists again. After so many people lost so much work. We were sending people out 3, 4, 5 days a week to work with the students. Across the board, I have to say, it was just joyful. Gratitude and joy is what we felt being back in the school, giving them an opportunity to de-stress. There was so much, trauma that everyone's gone through.
Right. We're all still navigating through it. We're all still navigating through it.
All navigating it. So I think the dance is a way of promoting healing. So by coming in and dancing this year in person, that's what we did the most. We tried to heal the communities.
Well, I'm sure it's helping tremendously. It's just the energy exchange alone is really where we're at after being isolated from each other for almost 3 years. So before we go, because this is actually my last question, and they're asking me to rap because I can dance with you all. But in conclusion, right, based on completing a school year, an entire school year in person, how did you conclude, right? In your presentation, you said you expanded into 70 schools. That's a lot to manage, especially if the programs are happening simultaneously.
Yeah, so we have about 60 different teachers. So a handful of our teachers are teaching at multiple sites. And all of our programs, we try to culminate in some sort of performance, because dance is a performance art form. And we really think performances are what bring people together, really solidifies the experience. But we work with each school to look at what's realistic for that community. So we don't have a cookie cutter way of doing it. For some schools, it was a video share. Sometimes it was a Zoom call. We did a lot of outdoor events. That was really fun. The last few weeks we were in schoolyards. We did a big thing on a basketball court a couple of days ago. We had about 200 parents show up outside. They brought lawn chairs. That was great. So a whole range of ways of celebrating the work, but we try to give the children a chance to get up on stage and celebrate and have something to share, whether it's there's a choreographed piece or they're sharing an improv. There's always some sort of performance component to every program.
Well, it's wonderful. And we are out of time, but I want people to know where they can go to obtain more information should they want to be a participant in the Summer Rise program, right? Because you're going to do the summer programs as well. Yeah,
this summer we're going to be back in a handful of schools providing dance in the schools. So Notes in Motion goes directly into schools. So if you want to bring Notes in Motion to your community, the first thing you want to do is reach out to your school leaders and let them know, hey, I saw Notes in Motion. They look really great. Let's reach out. You can find us on our website, notesinmotion.org. We have an Instagram, Notes in Motion Dance, a Facebook page, Notes in Motion Dance. Feel free to check out. There's lots of amazing videos and testimonials on there. Watching children dance. We do a whole variety of dance styles. So you'll see some modern dance, some jazz, some African, some Latin dance, a little bit of everything, and really just celebrating all of the creativity of New York City.
Wonderful. Woo! It excites me. It excites me. I'm into the arts myself as an artist and an arts advocate. Thank you for being with us. Amanda Selwyn, Notes in Motion Artistic and Executive Director. And once again, for more information, you can visit notesinmotion.org. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to hear about a tasty vegan option for your 4th of July celebration. Don't go anywhere.